Mike Collier, Democratic candidate for Lieutenant Governor, thank you so much. So let me ask you, what is your path to victory?
Well, you know, Jack, I've been traveling the state now for months talking to Texans about the problems that we face, like fixing the damn grid, like a property tax problem that's exploding, funding for public education and so forth. As somebody coming out of the business world, I solve problems for a living. I talk to Texans about what are the problems, how are we going to solve them, what's my point of view, what's your point of view, and Texans really, really respond to that. Is the state better off now than it was 8 years ago? The answer is no. We've got a lot of problems that are building up. When I talk to Texans about that, they don't feel like, in my judgment, that this is really a D versus R fight. It feels to them like who's the better leader to solve these problems. So that's the path to victory, and we feel very good about it.
So let me ask you, as far as you were recently endorsed by Tarrant County Judge Glenn Whitley, a Republican.
Right.
Were you surprised?
No.
And why not? And what does this say about your campaign?
I was not surprised. I was very pleased and very honored that he endorsed my campaign. I talked to a lot of Republicans in my personal life, my professional life. I talked to a lot of county officials. There's a lot of support for me. I think what he did is he gave voice to what a lot of local leaders are saying and thinking, which is that the state is a bad partner. The state is no longer for local control, particularly Dan Patrick. The state is not, and Dan Patrick particularly, not being honest about property taxes. So their constituents are angry and confused. Why do our property taxes keep going up? And Dan Patrick always says he's going to bring them down, but they always go up. It's because they aren't honest about it. Now, Judge Whitley's an accountant, and I'm an accountant. And we look at the data and we know what the facts are. And he's very unhappy, and he knows that I know how to solve these problems. And that's why he endorsed me.
And so you mentioned a couple issues, but what do you think is the most important issue facing Texans right now, and what's your solution?
Well, we have to fix the damn grid. If we don't do that, we're in real trouble. They are not taking the steps needed to fix the grid. It is not a question of if it will fail, it's only a question of when it will fail. Solving the problems with the grid have many, many months of lead time. We can't delay. So that's a very, very big part of why I'm running for Lieutenant Governor. Also, we need to fund public education, and everyone knows that. Teachers are very unhappy. Some 65% are thinking about changing and doing something else. If we don't get education right, we're not going to get anything right. And then property taxes are going up, 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 and they're going to keep going up, Jack, until we have an honest accounting about the corporate tax loopholes which starve the state of funds, shifting the burden onto homeowners. Those are the things that are most important at this stage, in my opinion.
A lot of Democrats are talking about abortion rights at this point. And so my question to you is, how important is this issue to your campaign?
It's important, and voters know where I stand. I've always been pro-choice. Because of the Dobbs decision and the trigger law, which, by the way, was written and driven down people's throats by Dan Patrick. That means that a woman has to carry a rapist baby. If they're a victim of incest, same thing. Women will die as a consequence of this, and folks know this, and it is not right, and they're very, very angry, and there'll be a lot of voters that vote for me for that reason. But there's a lot of other problems too. I think when I talk to women, they say, Mike, we know where you stand, and we need that. We really are pleased that you're campaigning on such things as the grid, schools, property taxes, because we know where you stand, and we will be voting for you.
My last question to you is this, and I appreciate your time, and that is, you've got the latest Dallas Morning News poll said you're behind by 8 points. How are you going to make up that ground? It's still a Republican state by every analyst's point of view. It's still the Republicans to lose.
Well, we have our work to do. We have our work to do in the next 2 months. You know, people come back from Labor Day and they start thinking about the election and trying to make their decision. You'll see an awful lot of people sort of tune in to what we're doing for the first time. There'll be plenty of information about me in the digital world, and we'll be doing the things that you do on TV and the rest to get the message out. We saw 4 years ago when I ran that it was very, very effective. When people heard my message, coming out of the business world to solve problems, they're very responsive to it. We have 2 months. We're in single digits. We can close the gap and win.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.